All right, hello. It is your favorite host who hates you all, and I am doing this just completely off the cuff because I discovered that no one else was home. So I was like, oh shit, I didn't think I was going to get to record this right now. Let me hurry up. And before you ask, no, I do not have all the challenges put together, but I at least know what types of challenges they are, so that, kind of like in the last video, I can still like kind of guess what's going to happen, because at the end of the day, the people who were good at certain types of challenges are more than likely to be good at all challenges of that type. So let me start off by saying I want to thank everyone who agreed. I, most of you know because I talked about it. Casting for this was just the worst. You had Nikki dropping, John dropping, then Joey dropping, then Lunar declining as a backup. Disaster. So, looking at the cast, there's some, pre-existing things, with Aisha and Lynn, the two of them. How are they going to interact with the cast? Also, let me clarify. It is August 9th, 5:40 p.m. The challenge first team comp was posted 2 hours-ish ago. So I've really only seen Aisha working on the comp. She's not even done yet, I think, by the time I'm doing this, so no sense of how anything on the season is going to go. So, let's get into it. Aisha and Lynn, how are they going to interact with the cast? Aisha, first of all, incredible week 1 social game. I think without Joey, DJ, Bolivia to fuck her over, I think she'll be fine. Andres versus Pew. Is it Pew? Anyway, those two I feel like are gonna butt heads. You got Ash being a villain with Jay. You got Brooke and Zayden really wanting to redeem themselves. Zaire, probably not wanting to lose to Brandon again. Sully probably not wanting to lose to Zeridium again, which is a great reason why these two are a good team. Like, as much as I did want it to be the two pots together, Sully and Nikki, I'm not mad at these two, because that is a team that I wanted to have if I wasn't going to have Nikki. So let us begin. The first challenge is renamed, but it's the Which is Which challenge, where, you're all split up. One side, or half of the people, do one challenge, the other do a different challenge, and then your average rankings within those two challenges are your final ranking. So, actually, while I organize, I just want to take another moment to thank everyone for showing up and playing. It really does mean a lot. And even though I sound a little less enthused, which part of that is because I'm trying to deepen my voice, because hearing my voice on that last video was, I don't want to say humbling, because I knew it wasn't going to be pretty, but it was not a pleasant experience, I'll say that. But also, like, oh my god, this like snuck up on me. Not that I'm not excited for the season. I feel like there's a lot of good people on the season. I mean, my god. It is still a superstars level cast. I'm not mad at the cast. Are there people that I wish were here? Absolutely. But I think Aisha and Lynn, great players. Well, Lynn's a good player. Aisha, will find out. And then, of course, Jay and Raven. I really want to thank the two of you, because you both got invited on really short notice. I think especially Raven, I think, was one of the last people to be invited, like days before, I think 2 or 3 days before cast reveal. So I want to thank the two of you for being my alternates. And yeah, now that, excuse me, everyone's together, we can do our challenges. So I've already seen that Aisha is taking eyeballs. Huge fucking mistake, but whatever. I think generally speaking, we have like a strategic. Both of them are still like thinky comps, as I like to call them. You have Reaper So, which is very much like, let me think about what I'm doing, let me kind of use game theory. And then the other one, Eyeballs, that still does require a level of thinking, because unless you're Aisha, apparently, you really want to think about where you're putting that cursor. So in terms of who I think is going to do well, see, because like I'm thinking about it, right? Brooke and Maddie, I could see Maddie bringing Brooke down with her. Pew and Raven, I mean, oof. But like Pew isn't that bad at the comps. I mean, Brandon and Lynn even. I could see Lynn kind of being in danger here. And Brandon, even though he is good at the comps. I can see Zaire struggling. Ash and Courtney, I think, will be fine, even though Courtney's on this team. I think they're going to be fine. Jay and Kira, could be, could not be. They could go either way. Andres and Zayden, I mean, neither of them are particularly great at comps. So if they ended up in the bottom, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know though, because Lynn, I mean, all she has to do is show up for that first comp, and I think she'll be okay. And Jay and Kira, I mean, neither of them are like amazing. I mean, Pew and Raven, I'm like really looking at them. Even though I think they could surprise me, I just got to think, like, what's the obvious answer? Because with last season, I was like, is it too obvious to think Molly and Sav would be, like, flopping the comps? And it was. It was too obvious for a reason. So that's why I'm really looking at, actually, this stretch of teams. Aisha and Zeridium, I think Zeridium could pull them up. Sully and Zaire, same thing. Andres and Zayden. Now that I'm looking at it, a lot of these people are not striking me as like comp beasts. Besides like Zeridium, of course. And Sully. Definitely those two. I'm really trying to weigh the eyeballs of it all. Which kind of makes me think Jay and Kira are going to be safe. I could see that. Ash and Courtney. I mean, Courtney. That was not pretty. Brandon and Lynn, I don't know why I keep coming back to them. I mean, it's because of Lynn, but like, I don't know why I'm so hung up on this. And Maddie is just not good at the fucking comps. And then Pew and Raven, it's like none of them are bad, but they're not amazing either. And that's kind of where I'm hung up on them. Now that I'm thinking about it, no one here really screams first boot that is also not good at challenges. Like, weirdly enough, I think Lynn is kinda has the worst social game of the bunch. whereas everyone else is doing like on like a spectrum of good to great, which makes it hard because I'm like, with the one challenge being Reaper So, it's a little bit of like crapshoot, a little bit not. So I don't know. My gut is telling me Maddie is gonna fuck over her team, because it's similar to why Aisha took eyeballs instead of Reaper So, is that Maddie's gonna see strategic and think, oh fuck that, I am not doing that. And I think that's gonna scare her out of doing it, and she's gonna do eyeballs, and that's gonna be really bad. Like, I'm hoping Brooke takes eyeballs, because then they'll be fine. I think my gut is telling me that I think Brooke and Maddie, it depends. I actually do think it depends on what Maddie does. If she does Reaper So, I actually think that team is like safe. Like maybe 5th or 6th. Like they're low, but they're not in the bottom 2 teams. If Maddie takes eyeballs, I think they're in the bottom 2. Guaranteed. I do not see that going well for Maddie. With Pew and Raven, because they're kind of the other team I'm looking at, where like none of them really stand out as people that I think would excel in either of those comps. Let me see. Let me see if Brooke and Maddie have talked about it yet. I don't think they have. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything from either of them. I think I'm going to go with my prediction, though, that Maddie is going to see strategic and be like, absolutely the fuck not. Which is funny, because I actually think Brooke would say the same thing. But the two of them are just so fucking nice that they're not going to want to, like, step on the other's toes. And Brooke actually did kind of do well in the comps on her season. Like, she wasn't incredible. She wasn't like a comp beast. I'm not gonna, you know, if I ever do a season where it's a bunch of comp beasts, I'm not inviting Brooke. But I could see her being a bit more confident about that. So I do think Maddie is going to take eyeballs. And I think they're going to be in the bottom 2. Maybe not last, but probably last. And I guess now we go into who wins, right? I could see Sully and Zaire, and here's why. Zaire is not that bad at comps, and Sully is very good at comps. But also Jay, Kira, weirdly I could see it. I do not see it for Ash and Courtney. Aisha Ziridium, maybe. Ziridium is a pretty smart guy. I could see him doing well with Reaper So. Andres and Zayden, I don't know about that. I could see it though. I definitely could see it. It depends on what I think Sully and Zaire decide to take. For example, if Zaire takes eyeballs, they don't win. If Zaire does not take it, then I think they win. So I think I am going to go safe and say Sully and Zaire are going to win the first challenge. Now, it's interesting because one of them has to nominate and the other has to take someone's stars away, or half of their stars. So who does what? I think Sully is going to nominate and Zaire will want to go for the power. Even though Sully will want the power, I think Zaire is chaotic enough to just go for it and say, yeah, I'll steal someone's stars. I'm at peace with that. So Sully is the pilot. Who is bottom two? It's one of Ash Courtney and Pew Raven. And it's interesting because I don't think Ash is really that amazing at comps. Though, okay, here's what I'm thinking. I think Courtney is going to remember how bad it was last season and say, hey, that kind of looks like a physical comp. I think I'm best suited on the strategic one because I know I'm going to flop it so bad. And I think Ash is going to be okay with that. Brandon Lin keeps standing. Also, if you hear like noise from outside, it's because my power went out just now, or right before I recorded, and it's so hot, so I had to do something to mitigate how bad it was about to get. So Brandon Lin, I could really see them being in danger. I could see Lin. I would hope Lin doesn't take the physical comp, because in her head, I could see her being like, I actually could see her taking that though. Because I could see her saying, I don't have time to do a strategic one, so let me do this like physical comp instead. Oh my god, it's so hot, but I have to push through for this video or else it's never gonna get done. And I think we all know that. So I'm just gonna... Oh my god, there's so many people who are just not that good at comps. I'm just trying to think. Because Raven's not that bad, but I think it's bad. I think I just saw a message from Pew saying that he was gonna take the physical comp. And I think that works out better for that team. Well, I don't know actually. I think he would be better served on the strategic one because it's Raven. But if you saw the All-Stars 4 video, you'll remember I kept saying she was going to flop those comps, and she didn't. So I don't know. I mean, she didn't do great in the comps, don't get me wrong, but I could see it. I think I'm going to go with my prediction about Courtney dodging the physical comp, and I think that would keep them safe. I think they would be in the bottom 4. And then Brandon and Lin versus Pew and Raven. Ooh. I don't know. I think I'm going to play it safe and say... I don't know, guys. I really don't know. I'm also trying to talk slower. That's one thing I'm always having trouble with, is not like just going full word vomit. I don't know, because I just looked at Pew's season 7 track record and it really wasn't that bad. But let me see All-Stars 3. Okay, no, when he's up against people who know what the fuck they're doing, it's not that good. So I am going to say Pew and Raven are going to land in the bottom with Brooke and Maddie. As for who gets nominated by Sully, I remember I did that. I see Brooke and Maddie doing worse than Pew and Raven overall. So I think it'd be Pew and Raven. And I think Sully would put up Pew just because they don't really know. Excuse me. They really know Raven, but they don't really know Pew. So I think Brooke. I remembered this from the last video, but I still like doing this. I think it's a lot neater to put the 3 up here. In terms of Zaire stealing stars, I think it'll be from Lynn. I think if anything, Brandon Lynn will be 6th, if not 7th. And then Pew and Raven will kind of be the other in that spot. No, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say Brandon and Lynn are 7th and Lynn gets nominated. My gut is telling me too hard that this will be, that Lynn will end up in the bottom 2. I don't want that, and I actually, unfortunately, think Lynn would go in this cockpit. Just because she's been on vacation, and she hasn't been the most active, and she got her stars stolen from her in my fantasy. Because I think Pew would try hard enough to win the first comp to where he would just put more effort, especially if he gets the physical one like he wants. This is what my gut is telling me. And now in this bottom 3, I am unfortunately going to say Lynn is our pork chop. Which, for those who don't know, that's a Drag Race reference. That just means you're the first eliminated. I think Aisha would rather work with Maddie in this scenario because Maddie's been a bit more active and has more connections to the cast already. Whereas with Lynn, she does not have those connections and she has not been making those connections. And I think Aisha would take that into account. And it would just be so sad. And between Brooke and Lynn, I think because Maddie is connecting with Brooke, and Aisha will, in my head, would prefer to save Maddie, or at least prioritize her, I think she would say, I'm gonna just keep her ally then. Maybe I could see Aisha getting rid of Lynn to be like, give me your stars. Yeah, wow, that is not what I thought was going to happen. Or at least that's not what I thought I was going to predict. So, final 15, it's going to be an app comp. I don't know what it is. It's one of the ones that's not done. Whatever. Come on. I mean, can you blame me for thinking that? I mean, isn't gonna be an app comp? Because it's funny, I was actually kind of looking at my list of comps, and like I kind of wanted to throw in another social comp, but then I couldn't think of anything. So it's probably gonna be... Oh my god, the sun is blaring right on me through my fucking window. That is a nightmare. Where did my fucking power go? It is bright and sunny. That's some bullshit. So, actually, you know what? I'm gonna change this. It's still gonna be like a physical comp, but... And I'm not just doing this because it would have been like the same people up for elimination. I don't want to do another app comp that soon. But I am going to put an app comp in the other spot because this would mean that Eyeballs is technically the only app comp on the season. Well, Okay, depending on how you count it, but the point is, it's a lot less app comps than everyone's used to, and that's my goal. I want to phase those out and do more challenges like Reaper So, where it's still like a physical comp, but it's not like a game. So this is going to be territorial, where they're going to be taking shapes and then putting them into a grid to get the most points possible. I'm not going to do portal hoppers or anything like that, because I mean, you're basically doing it later. And territorial, I actually don't think I did on All Stars 4. I think I skipped it. Oh my god, the clouds just parted. I'm like actually sweating. So this is a thinky comp, which means Aisha is going to be in trouble. Brandon is fine. Brooke and Maddie, I actually do think are fine, surprisingly enough. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an incentive into it, because I did promise there were going to be other shady ways to take a star from another player. And I think what I'll do is I'll say, I think usually it's like 3 shapes, which is what I'm comfortable going with 3 shapes. And oh, I can't do this comp now that I think about it. No, I can't do it. Yeah, there'd be no other way, unless I made it like a team effort, but then it feels weird that Brandon is just by himself. I mean, I guess I could do that, because at least then, like, Kira wouldn't have to do it by herself. Yeah, you know what, I'll just, as much as I would have preferred to have like individual rankings, because that to me makes the track records a lot easier to do, if it's like individual rankings, because you get more of a sense of how people did. It makes so much more sense if it just hit me, like, what if the person by themselves was ends up like winning or something. Okay, so I just thought of a twist, which it's not like game breaking or anything, it just kind of occurred to me. I think the third person is just gonna have to pick a team to join up with, because what would they do if they were in the top? Though, I mean, no, because then that person wouldn't get to choose. Like, they wouldn't get to say, because I'm sure there are people who would rather have the pilot over taking the stars and vice versa. So I would still want people to have that choice. I think I should have the person by themselves join up with another team. Right? Does that make sense? No, I'm not gonna do that. I think if anything, I would say, oh, I just thought of it. If the person by themselves wins, then they can either be the pilot or take the stars, but then they pass the other responsibility down to the second placing team, and then one of them has to decide what they would like to do. I think that would be kind of funny, because it also it lets the players have a little bit more control, as opposed to like, okay, 3-person team, whatever. I like that idea better. Go me, go me. So that would mean I can't do the territorial challenge then. Or wait, no. I could. It would just have to be in teams. And then Brandon would just have to do it by himself, which I think that's a fair compromise to make sure everyone is able to do it. So yeah. And then I think what I'll do is I'll say, look, if you either land on a space or get rid of one of your possible things, I will let you steal 2 stars from another player. So each person on the team would get 1, or if Brandon does it, he just gets to take 2 from that person. And every team would have the option. I think I should just have it be in a spot where like you get no points. But then at that point, why wouldn't I just make them give up the piece? I think I'll do that. I think I'll have them have like 3 pieces and then say, if you give up one of your pieces, then you and your partner will each get a star from another player. Just, it's nothing big. See, my worry is that it's not worth it because like someone could just say, well, if I win, then I would get more stars for myself, and I'm not running the risk of elimination by giving up a piece. So I'd have to make it more like enticing, but I don't want it to be that you both just get to take half their stars, because everyone would go for the person who first took stars, and also like, I don't know, but I do really want to make sure there is like a way you can take stars during the challenges. Like I think that's a lot more fun. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna have to think of something for this challenge. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I think I'm gonna have it in teams, and then that way, and of course I would try to find a way to make it accessible, but I think this is the right way to go about it, to let it be like a team decision. It's kind of like that apple challenge on season 14 where you like threw the apples, but then there was like a rotten apple and that like fucked them up for the whatever twist. So in terms of this being very strategic, I mean, this does seem right up Zeridium's alley. Like, this is definitely something he would excel at. So, I mean, I could definitely see him. And of course, like, I might make some adjustments so that the board is bigger. I think that would be a good way, even though that would make it harder. Kind of keep track of everything. I don't know. But I think generally speaking, it's going to be a variation where you claim land using like predetermined shapes. And I don't know. But I think making it a team comp is a bit more fair, because at least then you could like communicate to your partner, like, like there's a 5 here, a 4 here. If we move it up, then XYZ. So I'll think of something. Maybe it will just be 3 different boards. I don't know. I'll think of something just to make it fair. But team comp, territorial, kind of like a strategy based game, and not one that you can like collude with others on. So Ash and Courtney, I could see doing well. Brandon, I think, would be fine. See, because I keep thinking like Jay and Kira would be the worst here, I'm like, do I think that for like the obvious reasons, or do I think it because I don't think they'd be strategic enough to do it? Because this is kind of like a tricky comp, because everyone, for the most part, if you know, is working under the same, like, this is the board, I need to put these shapes into it to get the best score possible. And I don't know, like, who has that kind of capacity to think like that. And not like, that kind of not didn't come out the way I wanted it to, but I feel like everyone got the point, is that I don't know who thinks that strategically. I think Zeridium would really carry his team. Very, very much. I think he would very much carry, because this type of comp would be right up his alley. You know, how do you think strategically about yada yada yada? See, I keep coming back to Jay and Kira, and I'm like, why do I keep coming back to them? I don't know. I just... And maybe I'll cut this part out. I don't know. I know a lot of you do like it when I'm just like yapping. But in a way, I'm like, should I just change it to an app comp at that point? Because at least then I know for a fact, like, I'm being fair. And that to me is very, very important. That at the end of the day, I'm still making sure that everything is, you know, the comms are equitable and XYZ. Do y'all hear that wind? It's annoying. Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to make this a social comp. I think I am going to do that territorial thing, and just I have to challenge myself to find a way to make it accessible. In terms of who I think would do well, I mean, I definitely could see Brooke and Maddie doing fine on this. I don't know. This is such like a wild card comp. It literally could be any of them could win and any of them could lose. However, I think I do feel the most confident about Aisha and Zeridium winning. And weirdly enough, I could see Maddie doing really well on this one. Just because I know she's got some experience in orgs, and I could see it suiting her. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give it to Zeridium and Aisha. And I think I'm going to put Pew Raven in the last place, and Jay and Kira in 7th. That's kind of what I'm looking at, because I could see Pew and Raven really struggling with this one, and sadly I could see Jay and Kira struggling with this one. and Ash and Courtney, because Courtney's like a gimme at this point. Sully and Zaire, I think would find some trouble, but not a lot. Not to where we'd have to worry about them going home. Could Jay and Kira lose? Like, that's another thing I'm thinking about, is like taking aside however I restructure the comp, like at the end of the day, do I think they could win this? Or at least not place in the bottom two? Hey, so funny story. It is Elimination Day. I already know who's going to be eliminated. And instead of continuing off of Lynn, I was like, let me just predict from Zaire onwards, because at least you got the first elimination prediction, and then I can just go from here, because why not? At least then we don't have to do this. Oh, I think Zaire would do well in this comp, knowing she's like fully off the cast already, so... But to keep the draft fair, she wasn't going to be in my top 4, I don't think. So, you know, it all worked out in the end. So, next comp is going to be a team, like kind of like a teamwork challenge. And they are going to be working on a grid to get the most points possible, as well as have a shady way of stealing stars. In terms of who I think is going to do well, also let me just say, Zaire, I am so heartbroken that you were the first eliminated. I completely understand it's because you have a job and you just couldn't be as active as everyone else. I'm still just gut-wrenched about it, but you showed up and you did not flop. Like, your social game wasn't strong enough to save you, but you did not disappoint me. I am disappointed, but I'm not disappointed in you. I'm just sad because you really are one of my favorites from the All-Stars 3 era. So, I just wanted to say that because, man, it sucks to have her go first. We could have had drama, but someone had to go home first. You know? So let us predict. So, first of all, can we talk about how Maddie, like, mothered that first challenge? That is crazy! So in terms of teams that I think are going to struggle, I still do think Jay and Kira are going to struggle. And I think Aisha and Ziridium... Is it Aisha or Aisha? Because now that I think about it, I did get the pronunciation of Zaire's name incorrect. And you know, our season 0 4th placer over here is British. Derogatory. So, I don't know. It could be Aisha. Anyway. Who do I think is going to flop? Also, I do have all the challenges prepped. Like, I do know what I'm going to do. So, yay me! And before, you know what? I want to call out Madeline in particular. This bitch was like, oh, knowing Crim, the powers are going to be so overpowered. Bitch, fuck you! In the most loving way possible. Bitch, fuck you! If anything, my powers are never overpowered. Well, I mean, not since season 2. Because, like, I know the rookie host is not opening her mouth. The rookie host, PokeRace pre-jury flop, is not gonna buck up to me. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And that was just a loving bit of calling her out. Maddie knows that she's one of my favorites. Not one of my favorites to win. I would never waste my money like that. But, oof. So, and Courtney and Ash, I think I did say it in the first part that I was like, is that too obvious? Holy shit! They are living up to that name. So, let's actually get to territorial now. I can see Andres and Zayden. By the way, I can't roll my R's, so it's going to sound weird when I say his name. I'm so sorry. I'm like trying to not make it sound so white when I say it, because you know, I'm pale as a ghost. I'm not afraid to admit that. And I was not born with the gene to roll my R's. So I'm so sorry. And I have a bit of a lisp on my S's. So I'm so sorry. I'm like trying to correct for it. And also, I have a habit, I think I talked about this in the first part, that I have a habit of rushing my words out and not enunciating them. So I'm really trying hard with this video to not be a motor mouth and pronounce all of my crispy consonants. So it may just end up being a longer video because of that. But at least you'll be able to understand what I'm saying more. And of course there's like mic quality, but it was not the mic quality in the first video, I'll say that. So, I wonder if this is like making a lot of noise. Let me just tie that up real quick. I have my fans going because it is so hot in this house. Oh my god. Anyways, Courtney and Ash, it's like I want to say they're not going to flop this one as well, but like, Courtney is on the team. Oh my god. Also, I do really apologize for how, I think it was actually called Reap What You Sow, or Reaper What You Sow, and I called it Reaper Sow. I think I almost did that on All Stars 4. I'm sorry about that comp. I didn't think it through all the way. I thought it would be fine. I did not enjoy having that many people have 0, because like I may enjoy being a sadistic host, but it's not fun when 5 people tie for 4th, which is also last place, with 8 fucking people competing. It's not enjoyable to me. And also with the track records, oh my god, Maddie's gonna have like a fucking 90 something, and it's Maddie. So going into territorial, Jay, Kira, I'm worried about. Courtney, Ash, because holy fucking shit. Andres and Zayden, I think I'm worried about. Lynn and Brandon, I'm a bit worried about, because what if Lynn isn't active enough to really strategize with him? But also, there's not a lot of strategizing that needs to be done with this, so I feel bad because I keep coming back to Jay and Kira, because I do think regardless it's going to be a struggle for her. But then it's like, okay, am I just... I have 2 trains of thought. One train of thought is that I'm focusing on her because I don't know what I can do to make it even. But then there's another part of me that's like, well, I also care about her. So am I focusing on her because my subconscious is telling me, like, no, You need to be 100% sure. Like, you can't do that to Kira. Because, like, I do want it to be a fair competition. That's why I'm always so scared of making the powers too big, because I don't want another season 2 situation where there's a power that is just busted. And I think that's why I'm so like, oh my god. I keep focusing on Kira because I'm so terrified of having the challenge not be fair for her. I mean, also because I like her a lot, like as a player. But I mean, I like everyone here as a player. I gotta say, Raven and Jay, you two have proven to me why you deserve to be here. So far, remember, Zaire hasn't even been eliminated yet, so I could end up being wrong. I mean, about anyone, really, but the two of you have been very social. I've enjoyed your game so far, and the only reason why I'm singling those two out, by the way, is because they were alternates. Obviously, I don't think really anyone has been letting me down. Zaire and Lynn, I think, have kind of been my two where it's just not their season. But, I mean, no one's inactive. I would not classify a single person here as inactive. So, let's go into territorial. And I am sure I will find a way to make it fair. And also, Kira can just tell me how I can make it fair. And I'll do that. So, you know, equitable comps. In terms of who I think is going to be on the struggle bus this episode, I mean, Brooke and Maddie, I keep coming back to them. I know they completely proved me wrong with the first competition. Raven and Pew, I don't see them doing super well. Brandon and Lynn, I mean, that team, I think, has kind of been the least active as a unit, and I could see them really struggling on this. Sully, I think, is going to be fine, but then they also bombed that first comp, which was crazy to see. Oh my god. Aisha and Zeridium, I think because Zeridium is very good at kind of like that game theory stuff, which, by the way, I'm not talking about like MatPat. Game theory is a real thing, and Zeridium is very good at that. I could see Zeridium really pulling the weight on this one. Though, I will say, Aisha, you have been just incredible. I mean, this first week was your week, so I cannot wait to see how you play the rest of the season. Wow. Also, Brooke and Maddie, I gotta say, those two have been doing really, really well with the social game. And Ash. I'm sorry. And Ash. I think the four of you have just done incredible. No notes. No notes. Except keep your fucking mouth shut. Brooke, Maddie, big mouths. Oh my god. Nothing happened yet. I just know something is going to happen. So, in terms of who do I think is not going to perform well on this very strategic comp? I don't know. Brandon and Lynn keep coming back to me, but I think that's just because I'm not taking their social... I am taking their social status into account, as opposed to their actual comp abilities. Which, to be fair, we did not see a lot of in that first challenge. I mean, Jay and Kira could surprise me, so I'm not going to count them out. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, my biggest concern is that it's not going to be an equitable comp, as opposed to, I think Jay and Kira are gonna suck. Like, I don't really... If we can find a way to make it work, I think they'll be fine. And I do intend on finding a way to make it work. Brooke and Maddie, I could really see not doing well. I mean, my god. Pew and Raven, I don't really see doing well either. And then Ash and Courtney, it's like, I kinda overestimated them on that first comp. What if I do it again? But also, those two are gonna have a fire under their asses. So... yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna keep Ash and Courtney safe and just predict them near the bottom. I'm gonna say... Brooke, Maddie, Pew, Raven are the bottom two teams. I think that's a pretty good prediction. And I think I'm gonna have Pew and Raven last, and then Brooke and Maddie second to last. And then in terms of the team who I think is going to win, I mean, it could be Aisha and Zeridium. It really could. That would be a very, very smart team. Ash and Courtney, I mean, that is a possibility for me. Sully, I think they are going to have a similar fire under them. Andres and Zayden, I mean, that could be possible. I don't know. I could see them falling in the middle of the pack as well. Jay and Kira, I mean, I don't really see them being in the middle. I think they're going to be top two or bottom two, is my wild prediction. I almost want to put Ash and Courtney in there, because it could definitely be possible for them to win. It would not surprise me at all. Because I could really see them, like, gunning for it. I think I'm not going to put Aisha and Zeridium in the top. Because Zeridium has not been giving this season. I don't know what it is, but it's not giving winner edit. So I'm not going to put them in the top, but I'm not putting them in the bottom. I think they'll be top 4. So yeah, I don't see them winning. I unironically do kind of see Ash and Courtney probably doing well. But I also, because it would be a little sad if they didn't. I am going to go Andres and Zayden. I think I'm gonna lock that in. I could see Zayden really pulling through on the challenge. And I'm going to say... I think Xaden would want to be the pilot. I think Andres would, but I could see him kind of preferring to get the stars. And Xaden... Because I could see them thinking it's a lot easier to be the pilot than to take someone's stars away from them. Because, like, the person you put up could go home. With the stars, that is a person who is most likely to stay that week. So I think Xaden will be pilot. And between Brooke and Maddie, that would be hard. Because I think Xaden is working with both of them. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I could see Brooke volunteering to go up on the block. I really could. Because I think she volunteered for Aisha to take her stars week 1. As like a, hey, like, do it to me, I'm not gonna get mad at you, we're allies, we're friends, take from me, and then I'll just take from you back if I can. So... And I think Xaden is working with Brooke and Maddie. I'm not going into the server because I really want this off the top of my head. So I'm gonna say Brooke volunteers herself, and Andres. Oh, and then the team who gets voted to have their stars taken, Aisha and Zeridium. I mean, I really could see everyone being like, well, we want her to have less, so... Ta-da! Okay, and then we have Pew, Raven, and Brooke in the bottom 3. I think Pew goes. I think he would. I think Brooke and Raven have been cementing themselves enough in the competition. And I think Brooke has enough allies by now that, like, Aisha would keep her. I think Ash would keep her at the advice of Maddie. I think Brandon would probably want to keep Brooke. So I think that's what I'm going to say. I think Pew would go second in that scenario. And then that means Raven and Sully are a team now. And we're at Turbulence Week. Ba-bam! So this is the fabulous Cursed Bodies. Bodies. Oh my god. It's enunciation. I have such a bad habit of not doing it. Also, this is when they're going to be tempted and saying, by dropping out of the star race, oh my god, who does Zaire give her stars to? Because it's not Lynn. I think she would give it to Sully. I think it's just an easy way to be like, you know what? You could not have voted, or you didn't vote me out, or like, you're my teammate, so you could have my 4 stars. So this is Cursed Bodies. It's gonna be a jigsaw puzzle, because I find that to be easier than doing a slide puzzle. It's just easier. So, who do I think is going to be on the struggle bus? Oh my god. It's like all of these people are like in the same boat. Also, I love it because I really do think this will be Aisha's first time getting to play this comp. Because, you know, she bombed Superstars. So... I think I'm just gonna put Ash and Courtney in the bottom 2. I'm so sorry. It's like we've seen them consistently not do well in the comps. There's just no way I can keep them safe in good faith. No, 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 no way. And then the winning team... Brandon and Lynn, I do think, could be on the struggle bus, as well as Sully and Raven. But I think Ash and Courtney make the most sense for who is definitely going to flop, because it's Courtney. Like, I love her to death, but holy shit. Wow, 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 wow. It's also funny because I'm seeing that on All Stars 3, Ash was hexed the most. Oh my god, and she ranked last. Yeah, that team is fucked. I didn't realize I was putting them together like this. In terms of first place, I could see Ziridium and Aisha. I really do see that. Brandon and Lynn, I actually do see that. I'm also looking at the previous cursed bodies I did. When the fuck did cursed bodies happen? I'm like not finding it. Oh, I think it was a team comp. Yeah, I did it in the team section. Well, I mean, Ziridium is in first, and Sully was in second. Oh, Brooke and Raven were third. Interesting. I could see Brooke and Maddie, like, really going hardcore on this one. Because they would be terrified of getting, like, another bad placement. Because this is around, I think, when both of them got eliminated on their All-Stars. Oh, this is when Xaden got eliminated on his, I'm seeing. Brooke made it a little further. But this is where Maddie got knocked out with Zaire, and then Zaire beat her in the return comp, so... I could definitely see both of them really gunning hard. And Brooke didn't do bad. I think I'm going to be charitable, and I'm going to say Brooke and Maddie are going to win. Though, Sully and Raven could absolutely win. Absolutely win. It would not surprise me. Actually, let me check the All-Stars 4 track records. Let me see between Raven and Brooke if anyone went up. God fucking damn. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go Brooke Maddie. Considering Raven's track record went down and Brooke's went up. So Brooke and Maddie, I'm gonna predict as the winners. And they don't nominate. I think in terms of being the pilot, I'm gonna say Maddie. I think Maddie is gonna be really proud of herself for getting farther than she normally does. And I think Brooke will be so happy for her that she will let Maddie be the pilot. And then Brooke will get to take some stars. And I think she'll take them from Aisha. I think they would just honor that deal. Or Brooke could be shady and take them from... No, because they wouldn't know that Sully got Zaire stars. In terms of hexes, who do I think will get the most hexes? I do not know. I have no fucking idea. I could see Brandon and Lynn. I could see the people being like, you know, Lynn has kind of talked to me the least. Andres and Xaden, I could see them maybe getting the most hexes. I think I'm gonna say Brandon and Lynn, unfortunately. I think they would do well, but they would not win, nor would they rank 7th. There's 7 teams. So, unfortunately, Ash and Courtney will be the first elimination. And I do think it would be my sister's time. I do not see Courtney living that. Ash is in an incredible position. Cannot be more proud of her. So, I am going to put Courtney as my 3rd boot, which would break my fucking heart. And I think Lynn would go, which does put Ash and Brandon together, which they would love. So looking at this, it's 2 All-Stars 3 players, 1 All-Stars 4, and a Superstars alum. Cool. That would also be, oh my god, I didn't realize that both of those teams were winners. That sucks. Also, 3 women. What the fuck? I forgot the next comp. I did make it though. I do have it made. That's why I thought. It's a creative comp. Jay and Kira are in last. I'm not gonna pretend. Oh. Lynn would give her stars to Aisha. Courtney, maybe Brooke. Brooke or Ash. I could see that. And then, so, at the end of this round, after the eliminations and the eliminated people give up their stars, who do I think would have dropped out? Only the people that have stolen, I think, would want to drop out. I think Brooke may... I don't know, because Brooke would have to bet on winning. I think Sully would drop out. Actually, no. I think anyone who was given stars by an eliminated player would drop out. Oh, who would Pew give them to? I don't think I did that. I think he would just give them to Raven. I don't think it would be any big deal. I think most people would give it to their partner, except for Aisha and Maddie. I think they would give it to each other. Which, by the way, what an amazing friendship. I love those two. So, creative comp, Jay and Kira are last place by like a fucking mile. Who would win? I mean, who can draw? I don't think any of these people will be good at this comp. Oh my god. Let me look at, like, a previous drawing comp. Oh, you know what? I don't think I did one on All-Stars 4. Because I thought Allie would complain. Because she would, if we're being real. Brandon is artsy. And I think Ash on 11 had a good one. I feel like I remember that. I could definitely see Ash doing well. That would not surprise me. Yeah, Ash had a really good one. I'm gonna go Brandon Ash for the win. They both did well on their most recent creative competition. Second to last, Andres and Xaden. Oof, that'd be rough. Now, between Ash and Brandon, I think between the two of them, I think Brandon would want to take the stars because I think he'd be really mad about being hexed. And I think Ash would be the pilot, and she would nominate Xaden. And then Jay, Kira, and Xaden. That's kind of tough. Because, I mean, Jay would be safe. I think. Because I think Ash is in an alliance with him already. Yeah. I think Jay would be fine. Plus, his social game has been really, really, really good. Kira versus Xaden. Oh my god, that is so fucking funny. Because they were a team on All-Stars 4. So one of them would be going home against the other. Let me think about their social game. Oh my god, let me look at the existing alliances. I have to do this to break the tie. Ash, Brandon, Jay. Aisha, Brooke, Maddie. Uh-oh. Okay, that didn't matter. Kira is in that alliance with them. Xaden, I'm so sorry, sister. I think this would be your time. But I don't know, because I think they're in an alliance, an unofficial, not made yet alliance, with like Brooke, Maddie, Aisha. So this could be the thing that starts like the two sides of the plane. Damn. That does confirm though, because Ash and Brandon are in an alliance with Kira and Andres, so they would just put up Xaden, because that's their only non-ally. In terms of voters, I think these two, Aisha and Zeridium, sorry. Let me make sure I'm actually saying names in case you like put this one in the background. I'm sorry. Aisha and Zeridium, I think, would vote out... It just hit me that, like, Jay could go... but he has had a really good social game. Yeah, I'm not gonna think Jay is gonna go. Brandon... Ooh, this isn't looking good for Miss Kira. Because Sully and Raven, I think, would want to keep Xaden. Because of the All-Stars 4 connection. And also because... I don't know, like, looking at the lineup, I see less people who would have incentive to keep Kira. Like, she's a good ally, don't get me wrong, I would want to keep her. But when you put her up against Jay and Xaden, Jay has been doing, like, the fake bitch stuff. Fake bitch stuff. And Xaden is just well-connected. I mean, Andres could go into Crimbledor's army, which is Andres, Ash, Brandon, and Kira. I could see him going in there and being like, guys, I do not want to lose my partner. Like, I am not going to do well on this next comp by myself. And Ash and Brandon would have to be like, fuck, like, do we have to get rid of Jay and knock out that alliance we have with him? Because that, to me, would not be a good idea. If 3 people are on the block, and 2 of them are in alliances with you, just try to gun down that 3rd person. But looking at the board, I think there are too many people who have incentive to keep Xaden. So unfortunately, I am going to say Kira is going to go home. I mean, it could be a Jay blindside, but I don't see why Ash would want to do that. Or at least want to push for that, because she can't vote. And I think Brandon is smart enough to go with the house on this one. So I do think, once again, a creative comp would take out Kira. which is sad. That would make me sad. Next comp is a reflex, like, hit the dot competition. Oh my god. Now we're, like, really getting into hard eliminations. Ash, I think, would do bad. I was gonna say Ash and Brandon, but I don't think Brandon would. Jay, I could see struggling. Brooke and Maddie, I could see struggling. Raven and Andres, I could see struggling. Also, I like how inadvertently I've made the cast even still, because now I think there's 6? No. There's -2 from each cast, and then -1 from the alumni. I could see this not going well for Aisha and Ziridium. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of zoned out there, but also I was thinking about it. I don't know. I could see Jay not doing well. This doesn't really seem like a comp that I have faith in him to do well in. Ash and Brandon, I don't really see doing well. There's a lot of people that I don't see doing well in the competitions. Holy shit. Like, most of these people, you could tell me they were last place, and I would be like, yeah, I believe you. Because, like, we don't have Nikki, John, Joey, and Lunar here. And those, to me, are, like, the people who would have been doing well in the comps. Let me remind myself, who did well in Eyeballs? Aisha. Jay! Oh my god! Jay actually did really well! And so did Brandon. I'm gonna have to go Sully and Raven. I'm so sorry, but based on the evidence I have, I'm gonna have to go them. And Zayden didn't really do too hot on that comp as well. I mean, it's a reflex test. So that could be something that Jay does not do well on. I'm going to go Jay, Sully, Raven, bottom 3. No nomination this week. So, well, it doesn't change anything. The winning team, I think, it's going to be Aisha and Ziridium. I actually do see them doing well. They have not won, in my timeline, they have not won a second time. But I think they would just swap. Like, I think they would say it's only fair. So, Ziridium would get to take stars, and Aisha would get to, be the pilot. Thank you. Well, she would just break the tie, so whatever. Jay, Sully, and Raven. Jay, I could see being kept. He has had a good social game. Raven? Once again, I do want to put it out there. Brooke and Maddie could easily be in the bottom 2 for this. I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna say Jay, Brooke, and Maddie. I don't know. It's like my gut is telling me that it is so obvious that it's what's gonna happen with Brooke and Maddie losing. And in that case, I do think Jay could go, because Maddie would have the support of Aisha in case it tied. Though, that could make Aisha want to take stars, only so she would get to have a vote. That would be very possible. I love the player icons this season. I'm so proud of what I put together, because it's like less of a gold theme and this very regal, like blue, purple, light blue kind of deal. But yeah, Brooke and Maddie I think are going to be last place no matter what. And I think I'm comfortable putting Jay in the bottom 3. In terms of social dynamics, I mean, I see Ash and Brandon going on a tirade to keep Jay. And I could see it working. I could. Do I think Brooke goes here? Ooh, that would be nasty. My bitch post nasty. Has anyone else seen that TikTok? It's someone watching one of the Disney World parades, and it's Mrs. Incredible on like one of the hover scooters, and because y'all know Elastigirl she's a legend, she's an icon, and she is the moment. Now come on now. And she like spins, but she leans over, and it is so cunty. Oh my god. I'm gonna post that later today with like I'm just gonna say prediction video, no context, and it's just that. My bitch post nasty. So Jay, Brooke, Maddie. Oh, fuck, that hurts. Oh my god. Oh, I think Jay could go, but I don't want him to go. Did anyone hear me crack my knuckle? I'm sorry. Maybe Brooke? Okay. Crazy prediction. What if she starts getting pegged as like a social threat? Because like that is what did her in on All Stars 4. And I do think that could happen again. Things that make you go, I don't know. There's this other girl on TikTok who I love. Her name is Kaylin. And she does customer service horror stories. And oh my god, she is so funny. She's also anti-Trump, so we stand. I don't know, because I think Brooke and Maddie would be well connected, but that could also get them eliminated. Because that is what happened to Brooke on All Stars 3. I'm really between Brooke and Maddie for some reason. I don't know why. I think Jay has a good enough social game that people would be willing to keep him. I think... But I don't know, because I think Ziridium would want to keep Brooke. And Aisha would want to keep Maddie. I don't know. I could see Brooke going. because for some reason I feel like she would be pegged as too big of a social threat, and Aisha would want to keep Maddie, and Ash would want to keep Jay. And I don't really think there's anyone that, like, fucks with Brooke like that. So, oh, sadly, I have to put... That's 4 in a row! God fucking damn. Okay. Final 10 comp. This is the final round to take stars. Final round for stars in general. So this is going to be touchy subjects. And they are merged. So... But they're not jury yet. This is the final pre-jury. So, who do I think would have a good read on the group? Definitely would not be Andres. Holy fuck. Jay could. He definitely could. This is something he could win. Let me look at everyone's touchy subjects. And legally, I can do this, because I would have done it on previous seasons, except I never bothered. Sully, of course, icon. So Sully, Courtney's gone. Zeradium tied for second, okay. With 2 other people. Of course it was Nikki. And Ash. Oh, nope. Oh, Ash tied for first. Okay. And Brandon did really well. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm gonna go Ash. This does seem like a challenge that would be right up her alley. And she does seem pretty well connected. I don't know though, but I'm comfortable giving that to her. Maddie and Aisha, though, I don't think we have ever seen do this competition. Andres and Zayden, I think, did it on their original seasons, but I don't think... Or no, I do know Aisha and Maddie have never done it. But I don't think either of them would win it. I mean, I think... Who, based on this boot order, do I think would have a good social standing, though? Because Ash would have lost a bunch of her allies, but also Ash is very smart. I'm gonna go Ash. She has been on her A game so far, so I am comfortable giving it to her. Who would come in last? Who would have just no grip on what's going on? I mean, Jay. He came last on All Stars 3. I mean, Zeridium didn't do that bad, so... Yeah, he got 10 to Sully's 11, so... He was actually going to be who I picked to come in last. Raven, I could see her not doing well. Zayden is a maybe. Jay, I mean, he didn't do well the first time. Aisha, I mean, I could see it. I could definitely... It's like, who do I think is not in, like, the inner core of any alliance? Andres. I think he could definitely come in last, and I think I'm gonna go with that. So Ash would want to put someone up next to him that she thinks would leave. So she would probably put up a big threat. Who would have come out as a big threat by now? I think her and Sully, I think she would want to put them up, but then he wouldn't. I mean, she wouldn't. Xaden, okay. I could see it. Because Andres could be like, look, Xaden was really good at the comps. But also, Xaden's not good at comps, so maybe that wouldn't be the pitch. Maybe she'd put up like an Aisha or a Maddie. Though, there has been talks of an all-winners alliance happening, so I didn't really take that into account because that's not going to work out. It's just not. Ziridium could definitely be put up. He is an All-Stars winner. I could see it. Oh my god, no. She probably wouldn't put up a winner. Because we have... Aisha's technically a winner, though... It's funny. This is not shade. It kind of is shade. I love that they keep lumping her in with the winners. They're like, oh my god, yeah, Aisha, it's so cool how all these winners got put together. Which was not really my intention, because like Andres didn't get put with Xaden, but like all the other winners got put with a winner. Which like kind of was the intention, but unintentionally, if that makes sense. Like, Ash and Courtney got put together because, yes, they're winners, but they're winners because they were underrated. Oh my god, my phone has not been plugged in. But yeah, and also because people were, like, dogging on them on their seasons. Well, Courtney is because she's bad at challenges. I don't think Ash would want to put up a winner. I could see Sully going up against Andres. That could definitely happen. It's a possibility. Because, okay, here's why. When you look at everyone who is left, I think Aisha, they would still be doing a winners alliance or some kind of like winners agreement. Brandon, no. Jay, no. Maddie, I don't think would have emerged as a big enough threat to justify it. Also, if this is what happens, this would be Maddie's first time making the merge. Out of 3 seasons. Raven, I don't think would be a big enough threat. Ziridium, I mean, Ash could break the winners deal, but I don't know why she would this early. Xaden, I don't think would be a big enough threat, so that would leave Sully. And the reason why I didn't have Sully win Touchy Subjects is they themselves admitted, like, we're not getting, like, A+ Sully. So I think she might put them up as, like, I had no other options. People were just saying your name too much. So I think that's what would happen. And I think Sully would go home. I think Sully would be too much of an obvious threat compared to Andres, even though that elimination could go either way. It could definitely go either way. I would not be surprised about that. Because Andres also wouldn't, in my head, wouldn't be the most connected person out of everyone left. I just think Brandon and Jay would put together enough of a pitch to keep him in. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. Next challenge. Oh, and now we have the stars. Who would have the most stars by this point? I think Aisha and Maddie would be up there for it. Definitely could be up there. Oh my god, I never said who would get the first power. Um, I mean, it's not even worth it to try and, like, apply the power. Because you never know when someone's going to use it. You just do not know. But the first power... I don't know. I totally forgot everything I had said during that point. Ash is cunning. She could have it. Maddie could have it. Brooke could definitely... Brooke and Sully. I think Sully probably would have had it. Yeah, that would be my prediction. Okay, in terms of the Inferno Pass. Oh, and then the first power, just to prove. Oh, it is August 11th, 12:25 p.m. The first power would be Courtney's unused power from All Stars 4, which is you get to blackmail someone. You know, you take away their vote, or you put them on blast. I think that's how it worked. Whatever it was from All Stars 4, that's what the power is. Okay, so the Inferno Pass, I think, would ultimately go to... I don't know. I think Aisha, weirdly enough. She has been on a roll with her social game, and as long as she doesn't start to get, like, worn out, I think she would be fine. Or Maddie. Maddie, Aisha, maybe Xaden? That's kind of where I'm looking. Now we have Night Fever, but they move one space at a time. Because we have 8 people playing, so remember, Ash is not playing, she's outgoing pilot, cannot play. And they would all get the hint that, like, there is no downside to winning this competition. So winning the competition is not a bad idea. They kind of, like, hint towards the voting bracket. So, strategically, who do I think people would gun down? It's a thinky comp, so I am going to put Raven as last place. And as the winner... It's Brandon or Ziridium, actually. And I think it would be Brandon. Yeah. I'm comfortable with Brandon winning. Who would... Who... Oh, yeah, who would Brandon nominate? That's where I am. Could be Aisha. I could see them kind of breaking up the Winners Alliance. It's definitely not Ash or Jay. Those two are safe. I don't think it would be Andres either. So it's definitely an All-Stars 4 girly. I could see Ziridium. Ziridium or Xaden. Or Aisha. I think Raven would start to kind of emerge as, like, the GOAT. Yeah, I mean... I think this would be Ziridium's time. I think he wouldn't put enough effort into his campaign. Sadly. So now we have the voting bracket. Oh, I just realized. I fucked that up. No, I can't do it like that. I would have to switch it up. Because Touchy Subjects needs to be right before the voting tournament, or it doesn't work. right? Yeah, because I don't trust these little fuck asses to do trust rankings in time. Someone would fuck it up. So I think it would have to be touchy subjects before that. So, like, what would I even do? I mean, I guess I could have them do trust rankings and just put questions around that. Like, who had the best average trust ranking? Who had the least? Like, something like that. So, okay, I would have to shift a bunch of stuff around then. Damn, I thought I had it all set. Alright, I'm back. I just had to shuffle a bunch of stuff around. So, we're gonna put these people back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is all the same. This is not. So now we have Superstars Memory Match at Final 10. And I do not think Ash would win this. You know what's really funny? I actually think Sully would win this. Like, this does seem like a comp that they would do well in. So I'm gonna say Sully would win. And who would do the worst? Maddie. Who would Sully nominate? They would want to go for a big threat that they're not already working with. So that could be Aisha or Ash. Or they go Brandon. Because they might work with Ash, they would not be working with Brandon as much. I could see it being Brandon. Or Jay. You know what? They could put up Jay because it's not as big of a shot, but it's still like a threat. Yeah, I'm gonna say Jay gets nominated and then goes out next to Maddie because I think Jay would be just a bit more of a threat than Maddie. And like I said, I think that Maddie-Aisha friendship is going to carry them a long way. Unless someone opens their mouth about it. That is the only way I don't see it working out. So now we have touchy subjects. Ash is going to win. I'm still gonna say Andres is going to lose. And I think Ash would still put up Sully. And Sully would go out. So, really just Sully now makes the jury with this change. So, now we have the premier Poke Race twist, the voting bracket. The way I intend to set this one up is have it go by average trust ranking in the last competition, touchy subjects, which is why all of them have to do it. And I think I'm gonna let Sully's results count. I might change my mind about that, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna have it be by track record because I don't like to reveal that information. I think it's better to just have it by trust. Or threat. Oh, you know what? That's what it was supposed to be. I just remembered. When I was planning out the season, it is threat level. That's right. It's supposed to be by threat level. Because it kind of forces the people who are the big threats to be in the hot spot. So, Who do I think would be pegged as the biggest threats? Ash and Aisha, I think, would be up there, along with Brandon, and that's it. I think they would be the top 3. But I think Ash and Aisha would have done well in enough of the comps to where people would put them near the top. Actually, I could see Sully being one of the top 2, but because they're out, it now goes to one of Ash, Aisha, or Brandon to fill out like the second spot. But I think Ash and Aisha would be the 2. Next to most threatening. Like I said, I think these are the top 3. It's just the order I don't know. And I'm not going to pick between like, oh, which of these will be number 1? No, I'm just picking in groups of 2. Brandon and Xaden, I weirdly think by now would be up there. Zeridian would be next with Maddie? No, Maddie's not good at comps. I'm gonna go Raven. Even though Raven's not that great either, it's easier to do it this way. Now, this is when, by the way, this is why the Inferno Pass was given out so late. It's because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 votes in this one round alone for the Inferno Pass to be used. Plus, you have last round, which is the first time it could have been used. So that's 8 votes. And then you have the next one, which will be a 9th vote that you could use it on. So there's no excuse to not use it by then. That's 9 available votes. Okay, so Ash versus Aisha. Who gets voted to be saved? I'm just gonna do it one at a time. Sorry, I just showed my bookmark tab while I was adjusting, so I had to make a quick cut. Aisha versus Ash. I mean, that would be hard, but I think Aisha would get saved because, compared to her, Ash is the much bigger threat. So Aisha would be safe. Oh, who do I think would get the Inferno Pass? I have to remember that. I still think Aisha would get it. I think she would use it immediately to keep herself safe. That's just, I'm gonna make a quick one and we're gonna move on because that is so random. It's really, it's kind of like with the powers on All-Stars 4. Like, you cannot honestly expect me to seriously guess who was gonna get the power and then who was gonna, what power they were gonna grab. It's like some things I can't predict. I'm already stretching it by doing this nonsense. So Ash would get voted through, which is bad. When I say that, it's bad. I think Brandon would get voted through. So I guess I'm gonna put the safe people like here to the left of everyone. Raven's Iridium. I think Raven would get saved. And then Andres, Maddie. I'm like looking at the people who are available to vote for each one. Well, I guess for the past couple ones, I just picked most threatening. But like Aisha, Xaden, Raven, Ash, Brandon, and Zeridium, who would they save? I'm gonna like go on a limb. Because I don't know what's gonna happen if it ties. I guess, yeah. I actually did not think about that. Like what, because I didn't want to have it be like, oh, outgoing pilot gets to decide, or you're all going to do a competition and the winner gets to be safe and have all this fucking power. I think if anything, I would just say both of them move on if it ties. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Because then, like, let's say, Ash and Aisha tie, and they advance, and then Brandon advances. At that point, you just do a vote to save. Or you would do a vote to move on, actually. And you would just pick one of the three, and then the bracket is still the same. And if it ties again, well, and funny enough, I did consider a reverse twist where instead of voting people through in a bad way, you vote them through, and then the person who wins the vote gets the sole vote to evict. And first of all, that would be cunty. That might happen on Superstars 3 because it would be so iconic. Because, like, you would really have to earn that power. But then, like, when you think about it, it's like, well, the person at Final Four does that. And all they had to do was win 3 comps. So at that point, it's like, that kind of seems like disproportionate to what you have to do at the end of the game. And also, I feel like this would be more stressful. Because, like, if you don't want to win, then you just tell people, don't vote me. I don't want it. I do not want it. I do not want it. Plus, this is a lot easier. Because with the sole vote, it's like, well, now you gotta give them time to think about it and all this yada yada yada. I just felt that this was more intense. To say, yup, this is sudden death. If you lose the vote, you're out. And it's so funny because all this for one vote. It's not a double, no twist, no turns. It's just one person goes. And the reason why I did this, and actually, this kind of goes into why I did the Superb Superstars, is that I really want to put an emphasis on social game. I feel like a lot of people, including myself, tend to not really focus on that, or they focus on it way too fucking much. Like, they don't do anything, they're just friendly to people and get brought to the end. I really want the social game to matter. So with Superb Superstars, there's strategy involved. But you also have to look at social dynamics. You have to convince people not to take from you, but also convince the people you're taking from to not get revenge on you. And with this twist, I mean, this is the ultimate test of your social game. And I feel like the 4 people who win their original rounds, because I don't really see the first round tying at all. Even though there are only 6 votes, like, per thing, I don't see it, I don't know, I just don't see it tying. It could definitely tie. Could you imagine, like, 2 of the votes tie next to each other, so then all 4 of those people get brought into the next round? I think I would actually make it really fucked up and say, okay, it's a vote to save or a vote to push through. Pick one person to vote them through. That would be morbid. Because you have 4 people trying to get the votes onto one person. Or, like, you know what I mean. So, I just really thought this twist, also because I love Drag Race, and I love the Lollapalooza, I just don't like when it's rigged. So I thought this was a lot funnier to do to people, because it was meaner. So, Andres versus Maddie is where we left off, and I could see people wanting to keep Maddie through, because she's less of a threat. I guess with Andres, it's like, well, we can vote to keep him safe later. I think all the others I made too predictable, even though I genuinely think that is how it would shake down. I think I'm gonna have Andres be safe. I don't know, I feel like him being able to win comps would be kind of like a reason to keep him around. Whereas with Maddie, it's like, well, it's like I trust her, but she's not good at comps. So now we have Ash versus Brandon and Zeridium versus Maddie. Looking at the voters for Ash versus Brandon, which is Aisha, Xaden, Raven, Andres, Zeridium, and Maddie, I think this is one of the rare time. Well, I don't know, because Ash always ends up being a villain. I don't know how she's ever gotten a hero award. That is some fucked up shit. There must have been no heroes on those seasons for her to get a hero award. It's very possible she made a bunch of enemies by now because, like, it's Ash. So I'm gonna say Brandon would get saved between him and Ash. And Zeridium versus Maddie. I think Maddie would get saved here. I think against Andres, they could keep her through. But then Zeridium versus Maddie, it's like, no fucking way. I think Ash versus Zeridium, I think Zeridium would be exhausted and he would not campaign, whereas Ash would. And even though she made some enemies, she might be able to use that in her favor. So I'm going to say Zeridium would get taken out by the voting bracket. After all that, I think it would be him. So now we have the... Wait, now I'm confused. How did I fuck this up? Oh! I see what I did. Okay, no, we're fine, we're fine. I had, like, added a challenge by accident, that, like, wasn't originally going to appear, in place of this, which is going to be the roast, which I think is the perfect time to do this. I think the people would be okay with wanting to, like, shit talk each other and get it out of their system. Like, I think it'd be fun. Because they kind of get to take out their anger at me a little bit, because I would allow myself to be roasted. Because, like, I would deserve it. I'm not gonna lie. Who do I think? And everyone would get to play. No outgoing pilot, duh. I could see Aisha winning. I could see... Wow, a lot of these people are not that funny. I could see Brandon and Xaden doing well, but I'm gonna go Aisha. I think because of how long I've known her, I think she would know how to roast me right. And I think she would... Because when I think about it, roasting other people is gonna weigh more than roasting me. I'm gonna go Andres, actually. I think he would be able to do it. And who would bomb besides, like, most of them? You know, it's funny, because some people, like, do bad because they're not funny, but then some people, like, try way too hard, and it comes off so bad. Raven, I think, would be on the struggle bus. Xaden actually could end up doing bad, because they seem like the type of player who would overthink it. Ash and Maddie, I think, would do bad at this. I'm gonna go Maddie would come in last. I just don't think this is a challenge where she would excel. Now, after this nightmare that they all went through, who would Andres put up against Maddie? I think by now, Aisha and Maddie would get clocked, and I think he would put Aisha up next to Maddie, and sadly, I think it'd be too obvious, and Aisha would go. Which would be brutal to watch. It would be so brutal. But I do think she would go next to Maddie. I think she'd be too much of a threat. If she did get the Inferno Pass and used it, I think they would all clock that and be like, damn, like, I didn't think she had it after all we did to her. So I think she would go home. But I think she would be robbed, and I think she would go down as a really, really good player. Final 6 is going to be Disappearing Act. Andres cannot play. In terms of who would win this, Xaden and Brandon are the two I'm looking at. This does seem like a comp they would do well at. I'm gonna go Xaden. I do not know why. Brandon, I think, could win. He's good at comps, all around, great at comps. But he's a bit older, and Xaden's younger, so his eyesight is going to be better, and that's what you need for this competition. So I'm gonna say Xaden would win, Raven could win, and Maddie could win. I actually do see this being a comp where, like, the people who are bad at them would do well. And it's a Turbulence week. So I think Xaden would really go, like, balls to the wall for this one. So who would do the worst? I think Ash would actually do the worst, weirdly enough. Oh, it's the two worst. That's right. Ash and... let me see, actually, if Raven did do this on All-Stars 4. Because I don't remember. Yeah, Raven bombed this, so I'm gonna say Raven's in the bottom 3, excuse me, with Ash. And Xaden... I could see them putting up maybe Brandon to try and break up the Brandon-Ash duo. I think just like Aisha and Maddie, I think that duo would have been clocked. So I'm gonna say Maddie would be in the final 4 with Andres and Xaden. And I do think Xaden would want to keep Andres. Now, who gets saved? Here's the thing, right? Do y'all hear that fucking bug? It's not in my room, thank God. I think strategically, to keep Raven, she's not as good as the comps as everyone else, and Final 4 is, onwards, is comp heavy. And I think Andres, I mean, I could see him, because it's 3 votes, we gotta remember. It's Andre, it's, oh, that would be interesting. Because I could see Andres wanting to keep one of Ash or Brandon, thinking like they'll take me to the final 2 if he's not confident in like the others keeping him. But I could see Maddie wanting to keep Raven, because I could see them getting along. And I think Xaden is smart, and they would keep Raven. So I'm gonna say Ash, they're gonna... I think it's gonna be a tie between Raven and Brandon. Because, well, no, I'm gonna say tie between Ash and Raven. I could see Brandon being too much of a comp threat, whereas with Ash, she's kind of had some stumbles, like, she's really good or really bad. She doesn't usually get in the middle a lot. So I could see them keep, or Xaden wanting to keep her, on the off chance the upcoming comps are things that she's not good at. I'm recording, okay. So yeah, I could see Ash being kept. Or trying to be kept, but she would go. I think she'd be way too much of a threat. Because, let's be real, Ash is a legend. I love Ash. I don't love playing against her. The fucking bitch. I love you, by the way, Ash. Kisses! Mwah. But if I ever see you in another org, it is on motherfucking sight. Oh, I'm getting my revenge. So, final 4. It's 4 people who are not good at comps. Like, if we're gonna clock it, let's clock it. All 4 of these people suck. Round 1 is Night Fever, but it's going to be like this one. Actually, I got this from Maddie, from Maddie Viver Season 1, which, by the way, help my good sis. Give her some applications. Let her org thrive, because she's very excited about it. Could you imagine if it's canceled before this airs? Oh, that'd be embarrassing. Strategically, also, I really like how it's 2 from All-Stars 3 and 2 from All-Stars 4. I did not plan for that. So, I do think... Am I crazy for saying Maddie could take it? By the way, I do have a winner in mind from this top 4, but I don't know how the comps are going to go. I just want to put that out there. Maddie could win this, I think. But also, like, it's Maddie, so... Xaden could win this, and Andres could win this. I don't know. Also, I love how stacked the jury is, and then the top 4 is like... God, why are the bugs so... I'm not getting up. I need to ventilate my room. I'm sorry. So with Xaden, Andres, and Maddie, because I don't think Raven would really try for this one, because she doesn't have to. Like, it's not a required competition. I mean, it's a total crapshoot. It depends on who they want to target, or if they target. They could all just work together. And funny enough, I could see Andres and Xaden working together, and then Maddie and Raven working together. Like, I think those are the duos that are battling it out at this point in the competition. And Andres and Xaden are the better strategic thinkers, so I'm gonna say that one of them is gonna win. I could see Andres outsmarting Xaden and winning. So, what would Andres do? I think, okay, here's what I would do. I would pick my person. I would pick Xaden. Because here's the thing. They don't know what round 2 is going to be. They just know it's a competition. And even though the odds of Andres and Xaden beating Maddie and Raven in the competition is very, very likely, it does not hurt to bring your person to the duels and say, look, if we are both confident that we can beat the other 2 in a competition, let us ensure that one of us gets to that final competition. Because that would be, it's kind of like on Drag Race All-Stars 9. Trinity the Tuck and Shea Coulee knew that, or I'm sorry, Trinity and Peppermint knew that Shea and Sasha were production favorites. So the 2 of them said, if the wheel lands on us, we have to pick each other to force one of the other 2 to get knocked out before the top 2. And I think it would be a similar situation. I think Andres and Xaden would pick each other to ensure that at least one of them is guaranteed top 2. So now we have the duels, which is going to be Star Baby, or writing a verse to RuPaul's song Star Baby. It is a creative comp, and struggle bus, all four of them are gonna suck. All four of them are gonna suck. All four of them. Terrible. But I think Andres is going to win. I would be shocked if he lost. At least compared to Xaden. This does not seem like something Xaden would do well at. Yeah, I don't see Xaden winning it. And then Maddie versus Raven would be terrible. Like, so bad I should eliminate both of them. But I think Raven... I don't know, though, because, like, Maddie is from the UK and Raven's from Pennsylvania. So both of them have no cultural background to where I think they could do well. I guess I'll pick Raven, because, like, why the fuck not? And Andres versus Raven. Oh my fucking god, my sister is back in another trivia comp. I mean, it's Raven, she's not gonna win, so Andres will get to win. And I think he would take out Xaden. I think he would stab him in the back. Because, like, looking at Maddie and Raven, like, why wouldn't you go to Final 3 with them? Though, okay, here's the thing, right? You could do that, because that's probably what I would do. I would say, look, they're gonna vote each other into the Final 2, but also, I think I could whoop their asses. He could do that, but he could also say, let me bring Xaden to the top 2, or top 3. Then he votes me into the top 2. I get the other person to go to top 2 with me. And then I can just beat whoever wins. Because Andres could say, you know, I think I can beat Xaden. So I just need someone who will get me to top 2. So I could see that happening. And then between... So, what would Andres do, though? Because he is a good strategic thinker. God, this Final 4 is lame. I really hope it doesn't happen. Also, because we would not be getting a girl winner. I'm gonna spoil the rest of the video. It's not one of these two. I think, okay, Raven has gotten to closer to more wins than Maddie. And it would not be shocking if Andres... Well, okay, here's another thought. No, because he might pick Maddie and say, hey girly, like, All-Stars 3 Alliance, like, let's make the Final 2 from All-Stars 3. Would Maddie go with that? I don't know. But he might pitch that to her, and if he gets for the Raven, he can mitigate the risk of not getting voted. So I think Raven is going to go 4th, again. And we have a top 3 of Andres, Xaden, and Maddie. I mean... I think, I would hope, Xaden would be smart enough to go to Maddie and say, look, I don't think either of us can beat him in a competition. And I think he beats both of us in the Final 2. So how about we vote each other into the Final 2? Kind of like what I just did with the Round 2 duels. Like Xaden and Maddie could say, if we vote each other in, we can take the risk of the other, yeah. Like, we can take the risk of the other beating Andres. I just fucked up his name so bad. Like, I heard it. So I would hope that's what they would do. That's kind of what I would do if I was in their shoes. With Andres, you just go to Xaden and say, look, let's make our team the final two. And then you go to Maddie and say, let's make All Stars 3 the final two. Duh. So would Xaden and Maddie think of that? I could see it, actually. I think Xaden could think of that. Maddie actually could think of that. I would just hope she doesn't give up. Because she's like, well, I'm not going to beat either of them. Why am I trying? I could almost... Okay. Let me analyze all three of their paths to victory. Maddie would have to control, like, Final Four onwards and kind of have, like, a late bloomer arc. Andres has to make Final Two. In my scenario, I think he would beat all of them. Xaden, though, would have the most interesting arc. Because if he gets to top two against Andres, he could actually win. I could see a 4-3 split. And if Xaden somehow gets voted into the final two from this vote by going to Maddie and kind of reverse what Andre is doing by saying, we need to vote each other because at least one of us can be in final two with him. Like, we can guarantee that. And also, we can have the other win. But then he could go to Andres and say, look, we can be top two with, like, a team. Let's vote each other into the final two, and then Maddie has to vote for one of us. If Xaden can do that, that could be, like, a big move to add to the resume right at the very end. And also, I would say that's pretty skillful. But Maddie and Xaden could also say, look, Xaden, you have the best shot at beating him. Or, because I'm going to tell them it's, like, about season 7 onwards, Maddie has seen more than Xaden has. Well, Xaden, though, did kind of go back because he was so curious. But, I mean, either one of them could possibly beat Andres. So what do I think is going to happen? I think Andres is going to do what I said. And I think Maddie is going to be the swing vote. I think it depends on what she wants to do. And I could see her... Because you gotta think. Like, she probably doesn't think she's gonna win. So what does she try to do? Like, she could try... I think maybe she goes for a Hail Mary and tries to take out Andres herself. But, like, would they vote her, though? Oh my god, outside my window. I can hear it. I can see Andres voting Maddie, and then Maddie getting Xaden's vote. You know, I'm gonna say Andres third, and Xaden wins. I think in this scenario, Maddie gets voted through because she doesn't... Well, she could throw a Hail Mary and vote through Xaden and say, look, I think I can take out Andres myself. But she would lose. And Xaden versus Andres, I don't know who the fuck would win that. Yeah, I'm actually gonna change my mind. I'm gonna put Maddie as third. And then Xaden versus Andres? Ooh, that's a tough one. You know what's funny? I had Andres as my All-Stars 3 winner prediction. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have Xaden as my winner prediction. Because I could see Andres... I I don't know. I think I might just keep it Xaden because Andres is more likely to get voted out than Xaden is. But yeah, that is my prediction. I'm not going to make the promise of a merge video. I want to, but I'm not going to make the promise. But yeah. I think this is going to be my prediction. I mean, it's definitely not what's going to happen. I could see them being smart and then voting Maddie through, because, like, who the fuck is Maddie going to be? The fuck? And then, like, with Andres... No, I'm gonna put Andres third and Maddie second. I just can't shake the feeling that Andres would fumble it at the last second. But Xaden probably would too. It has more likelihood to do that. Let me... I'm gonna see if Andres prepared for the trivia comp on his season. Because now that I think about it, he might not have. Did he even compete in that? Oh no, he did. Okay, and he won. I don't know if he prepared. I think Xaden would, so I'm gonna keep Xaden Maddie top 2. So yeah, that is my prediction, and we will see how it goes.